Hello and welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer. As we carry on our tabletop, tabletop RPG night, that's the one, with some more Warhammer Fantasy. Mordheim, City of the Damned, A Leaf Too Far. In the last episode, our group of travellers and explorers and one taxman went along with two nobles to watch a performance, a play. Now, during the play, one of our characters, Blackhand, pulled out a golden mirror and looked into the mirror, and he saw the ghostly spiritual image of a young lady. Now, during the performance, I believe it was Casper. I believe it was Aurelia and Casper who saw.
No, I didn't.
No, sorry. It was actually Reese and Aurelia who saw that Blackhand was essentially crying. There were tears weeping from his eyes during the sad scenes. During the scenes where the warrior was made out to be an evil man, and he was angry when they made him out to be this monster. But when the two characters saw Blackhand and saw the emotions on his face, they looked down and he was holding nothing. His hand was out as if he was holding something precious, but there was nothing in his hand. By the end of the play, Blackhand has snapped out of his gaze upon the girl.
So the mirror is a ghost mirror?
You see it, they don't. The curtain comes down and the performance ends. The cast have come out and done their final bows, but Blackhand, you can look round freely now. Your eyes aren't drawn to a point on the stage. But you do note that she is still there. She is still there whimpering on the stage. As the actors have now gone, the masses are being hoarded out by the muscular men who were keeping them quiet before.
Zeus has made his notes.
I should probably switch songs.
I have changed the music.
No, I was like, I had Roll20 mute and I was listening to the Deus Ex soundtrack and I'm like, well, that does not fit the situation. Now, Magness suddenly has Adam Jensen shades. I never asked for this.
I was listening to The Devil Wears a Suit and Tie.
I love that song.
So, Lord Malleus and Gale are chatting as the performance ends. They were watching the rabble fight each other, but that's ended now. They sit back and finish off Malleus finishes off his cigar, whilst Gale lights his pipe. Malleus looks quite happy, quite a lad on the town. He's still enjoyed the performance, whereas Gale is far somber. He's far more dour in his demeanour. Yet you could see that Malleus is breaking through that sourness and demeanour, and he is cheering up.
Gil never watched the play, didn't he? He just looked around him.
He paid more attention to the people around him, but he would have had some attention on the play.
Okay.
Is Blackhand still crying?
Blackhand, would you have wiped the tears from your face after you've realised that they were there?
Yes.
Aurelia,
Did he
you see
notice
him.
us notice?
Not at the time, no, because he was transfixed. Basically, his gaze, he had no sight for anything other than what was happening in the middle of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't know you liked opera that much, Blackhand. It wasn't all that good, and you're still crying.
I like to imagine the extra stuff that makes it good. Otherwise, human entertainment is just too bad.
I would probably whisper over to someone closest to me and try to make sure Emilius or Gale doesn't hear it, but mention that the play seems backwards. After my research last time that told me that the play felt backwards or something.
Yes. From the story that you read in the book of Mournful Tales from Westland and Soul.
Yeah. I'll try to either communicate that to the group or just whoever's closest to me if I'm too close to Melius or Gale.
Sure. The way the seats are laid out is Melius and Gale have the two front seats, and you guys kind of take up the perimeter. So you can step back, and you're out of earshot of the nobles, so you can whisper to each other.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, I'll lean back and turn to whoever's closest. And the play seemed alright, but the rules are backwards. A knight shouldn't have been the villain.
I'm sorry. Are you implying, Casper, that a noble changed the story so a noble would look good?
Do I hear this?
It is whispered. You'd need to give me a perception test. I'd probably
Or
say
do I
there's
at least notice them whispering?
Yes, you'd notice them whispering.
Okay.
But to listen in, you'd need to give me a perception test, and there'd probably be a -10.
Oof.
So no, there's just too much roar as people are leaving, as chairs are being scraped, and people are talking about the play down in the main seating area.
I'll try and be discreet about it as well. That I was trying to listen.
Sure.
Yeah, Casper's gonna kind of realize that. Yeah, I suppose that kind of makes sense, but it just seemed a little off. I mean, there's a story about this in a book and everything, and a little odd. It's not like someone can't pick up the book and, oh, this is completely wrong. It's have a public play about it too.
Is Blackhand with us back there?
Yes, he is.
Then Livia will say she probably noticed that the others were asking him about his tears, that he seemed awfully invested. Yes?
I believe Aurelia did, yes.
Indeed he did. He even cried.
Then Livia will say that, Blackhand, what do you think about the story? You seemed awfully invested.
The story could use some more interpretation, which I added in my own mind. I also like to reverse the roles. Seems fun from time to time. Also added in some more troops.
Battles are far too small to be entertaining.
Need more DACA.
A battle has to be at least played by 100 men. Otherwise, what's the point of portraying it?
Casper tried to
Suppose
stifle a giggle at that and imagining 100 men on the stage in front of us.
Also, you do use real baits. Bit sharp edge.
Say again?
These actors pay attention. They can use the scars. We'll help them in the next play. What's the reaction I see on the faces since it's silent?
I imagine a couple of them were curious when you mentioned 100 men in the play.
Yeah.
Riley mostly just has a curious look in her head, and she has one eyebrow raised.
Pretending like I don't listen. In character.
Oh, no. As soon as we leave this place, I think the better it will be for all of us, especially since this place is far too open.
Well, at least we're not.
Especially since, well, the noble over there, he thinks that he is cursed, and he feels as if people are going to try and kill him. So,
At least no one's killed him yet, or tried to kill him yet.
indeed, true.
I don't exactly want to be throwing myself in front of an assassin with a flintlock.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot.
You know, but how the Southlands will rise again.
But then again, we're technically not paid to keep him safe, we're paid to keep Pumperdinck safe, so...
Yeah, but kind of by extension. And Reese over there is probably paid to keep him safe for the moment.
True, that is indeed true. That is indeed true. Riley's gonna look at Blackhand again, and then she's gonna try to look at the place where he had his eyes blocked on for most of the opera, and she's gonna try to see if she sees anything weird in that spot. I don't think I even need a perception because I'm not gonna see anything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just like shimmer.
Sadly, you look Aurelia, and you don't see anything. Blackhand, you still see her. She's still there, sat on the stage in the middle, in front of the curtain. She's stopped crying and wailing and writhing. She now just looks very much depressed, just sat on the stage, just in a huff a bit.
I don't know if I already knew, but I can't find it in my notes. But do I recognize the house which she attacked, or the logo of the house?
You only know him as the abuser. You only know his shape and his figure. His face was blurred out and the features were blurred out. You saw a painting in Gallius's house where a number of the paintings looked remarkably like the abuser. Different. Each one was different. The build was slightly different. They were more hunched, or they were more... But it was that same, size, like a rugby player. And you saw one painting that matched the abuser exactly. And they were portraits of Gallius's family. Gallius himself doesn't have that exact build. He's much skinnier. But they're the only times you've seen his build. You would have seen his face in the picture, in the painting, but it it was unremarkable. It wasn't. There weren't any striking features or big scars or anything like that. It was just normal.
And what house is Galius from?
Galleon, House Galleon.
Galleon.
Galleon? With a
Yes,
she?
Galleon. Like the ship, like the ship.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. Would anyone else do anything whilst you're up there, or
Can I make a perception test just to take a look around and make sure everyone's well? Just as we kind of brought up the whole assassination attempt thing, it's more just to make sure everyone is.
Sure. You can give me a perception test. Just do it flat, because you're like, if you take 5 minutes over it, do it flat, as you're just surveying the area and the seats around.
Sure.
I'm gonna do the same thing after I give up on looking at the spot that Lycan was looking.
Too many people moving and jostling their way through. Aurelia, as you take a little bit more time and go through the crowd, no one's looking up at the nobleman's box with, like, you don't get that sense of danger. Like, you can see a few peasants who look up, but you can see how they're dressed, and you can see they're not carrying any weapons. They kind of look up more in awe, more in dreaming of, oh, you know, one day we'll get that rich, or just in that dreamer mentality. You don't see anyone looking up with, like, intent, with vicious intent or anything like that. People are just making their way out after enjoying a night at the opera. Well, at the performance. You would note that there's far more grumbling coming from the peasantry than the nobility and the merchant nobles. It's a tiered system, so anyone who's off the floor is of nobility. Anyone on the floor is basically peasantry. There is a lot of grumbling down there, and I'll give you, because it was a 7, I'll give you that some people are mentioning poets' license, that there's lots of grumbling about miswriting the play or not understanding the true meaning of the play, or nobles writing plays and writing out peasants' parts. No, the only no names have been mentioned in any stories. You imagine that's kind of to keep the people out of being scorned or directed at. You would definitely note that out of all the nobles, Aurelia, they all seem quite happy with the play. They all seem quite like it was a good play. It made the nobility look good and proud, and the only one who seems really dour would be Gale.
Could I spend 5 minutes to do a magical sense test? Not looking for anything specifically, just
Sure.
around the room. Flat?
Yes.
So close.
Do you know what? That was so close, I will give it to you, because it was 2 out. As you kind of close your eyes and reopen them, changing the perspective of the world that you see to look into the Fae, to watch for the winds of magic, you'd note that in this place they're very stifled. The winds don't seem to have a strong hold here. Give me a perception test. You're still new to this, so I'll say flat as you kind of watch the winds and as they move around the building. The winds do not move cleanly through this building. It's almost as if this building was designed to hamper spell usage, possibly as a defensive mechanism. You're not quite sure. It's a little bit beyond human technology, or understanding of magic for a town like this, but it's clear as you watch the winds, they don't move, they're stagnating. And then you notice something odd in the centre of the stage. You don't see a form or a body or a person, but you see the winds move in an irregular way. They seem to coalesce around this spot, and as they coalesce, they seem to drain ever so slightly, only the smallest amount. You don't sense anything malicious about it. It's almost fascinating. But you're not quite sure what it is. Can you give me an intelligence test with... I'd probably say there's a -20 to it.
Hello?
Hello, Jazina.
Damn.
You're not quite sure what it is. You think you've seen a similar event before, but you're not quite sure. It just leaves you. You just can't think of what it is. It's interesting. So with nothing left to be done, for some reason our boat is talking. I'm not sure why. I'll sick the Soon Raccoon on it.
Our boat is having a multiple personality disorder.
It may have to get burned. It's been tainted.
It's probably a mimic.
Both are typing.
So with nothing left to be done in this area, really. Oh, sure.
Real quick, just I'll turn to the nobles and just simply ask. So, what did you think of the play, my lords?
Oh, marvelous! It was just inspiring. I loved every moment of it. I could see myself doing a similar thing. Could you not, Gale? Could you not? Perhaps Melius, perhaps, but it is a droll story that is told often here. Casper, I tire of it, to be honest. It's far from its source, I believe, would be the polite way of putting it.
As you say that, I do believe I read a story similar, but the roles seem to be reversed somewhat some time ago. It reminded me of this play.
You have such a book. I would not have thought you interested in such things. I have one, the Mournful Tales of Soul and Westland.
Yes, actually, I have that book too. Something I picked up in my travels.
Interesting. Yes, I have I've read it many times. It's the truth in so fewer words. Of course, the nobility would never have a story, a tale such as the truth told. What? Yeah, what is all this nonsense about? Melius, I said my family was cursed. I didn't lie. It's just, I am... Well, technically, the galleons died out. I was the last. I was, well, my It's all in the lines, Malleus. It's. What are you talking about? A long time ago, the galleons died out, and a smaller branch of the galleon family that were in another province took over the running of the galleon estate. And this curse is to do what? You've never been cursed. Until now. I was not joking. The omens are all there, but I will admit I gave in to my imagination and speculation. He seems quite flustered and embarrassed about going back on how mad he went.
Casper will probably give something similar to what we did when we first entered, like a little bow or something, and just apologize. Sorry, I did not mean to cause you this much distress or duress.
It is fine. I have read the story many times in the last months, and a horrible, disgusting act that would only ever lead to more tragedy. But I imagine you, Master Dwarf, would understand more about an ancestor's dishonor. Yes.
Yes. A grudge given is a grudge is a vengeance in the waiting.
Yes.
We can be patient. It's never too late.
As can anyone who has had a fate as terrible as that done to them. Malleus, I tire of tonight, and I think I will just return home. If you wish to party the night away again, by all means, you do so. But I will. Oh, nonsense! I could party anywhere. I will come back with my esteemed friend and keep him company on such a dour time. Gale nods to him. Tapping out his pipe into the ashtray that is built into the chair, the throne that he sits on.
I feel a little bad now for getting the Perkub upset.
He was already dour.
Yeah, well, it was just that little push. Just come on. Now he won't get shit-faced with his friends.
Good job, Casper. You made our employee sad.
Casper the party killer. Wait, no, I didn't mean it like that.
So as Gale taps out his pipe, Malleus has a few more drags on his cigar before putting it out and finishing off his drink, whatever he had. The party rise, and you make your way out. If you wish, you may stay in town and drink and celebrate and do all those such things. You will, of course, escort your lords to their waiting carriages, and they will take off. But it's entirely up to you what you do with your evening.
Okay.
You can return home to study if you wish.
I'm probably going to do that.
Whereabouts would my abode be then?
So you would Would you be on his estate? I don't think you would be on his estate, Reese. You would be in... So the way that this town is laid out, you have the noble lord's estate, essentially on the top of the hill. Well, of the slope. Small hill, anyway. He has quite a fancy kind of castle stroke chateau type of a deal with a stone wall around it. Just out from there, from his estate, you have the noble buildings. Just back from them, you have the high members of society. You would be in that area, and then you have the merchant tradesmen, the craftsmen, the labourers, the peasants. So you could be dropped off. You could, if you wish, stay out with the group if they go drinking, or you can all return back to the chateau and have a few drinks there and a quiet night. It's entirely up to you.
So,
As soon as I'm allowed to go, my character would probably stand up, and then it wouldn't hitch a ride. It'd just walk back to home unless someone.
Sure.
look back.
Once the noble's carriage is taken off, you all say your good nights, as would be proper. The carriage takes off, and you have the option. There is a carriage there for your group. That's there for your group. It has a driver. They can drop you off, or you can just walk off.
Yeah, just walk off.
You would know that you have to be back at the chateau in 2 days' time.
Yeah, I just sort of walk back to the chateau on my own. It's taking a more interesting scenic route.
What would the rest of the party like to do?
I would return.
Sure. Well, actually, does anyone want to stay out for a drink in town?
Magness probably would.
Don't get slapped again.
Okay.
You know what? It really will
Like, I
come
don't think I'm gonna be slapped by a hooker again. I've learned.
I don't know,
this.
natural one
No.
comes along.
I mean, yeah, I
Sorry,
mean,
you need
if,
to
if
leave
the
one
dice will it.
The dice will it will happen.
Nuffles
really will actually accompany Magness to a tavern.
God damn it.
Okay.
If Magnus sees Aurelia going with him, he will try to lose her on the streets and go back to the chateau then.
Are you sure? Fair enough. You still go to the tavern even if you manage to
Magnus
lose her, which...
does not like Aurelia one bit.
Well, she's just going to the
Okay.
tavern and you happen to be going in the same direction.
Don't be prejudiced.
Now, there are a lot of people in town at the moment, in this main square where there's the two taverns. There's less nobles and there's more peasants, as to be expected. So you have two options, Magnus. You can try and silent move out of there. You can try and conceal yourself within the crowd and move along. Or you can just run through the crowd and hope that you get lost.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the last option, I think.
You're going to run into the crowd and hope that you get lost. Okay.
This is where you get smacked by a bailiff.
So you run through the crowd. Give me a... I'll leave it up to you. You can do a strength or a toughness, but you are essentially either pushing people out of your way or you are... Oh no, actually, we'll go with a strength or agility. So you're pushing people out the way or you're slipping through the crowd. This is just to get an idea of what Aurelia's target has to be.
Actually.
Okay.
Damn it.
So, Aurelia, you need to give me a perception test. There's a -10 because of the number of people about. 25. Because I still need to add the degrees of failure on top of your thing. Aurelia, can people see your face, Aurelia? Are you
Currently, they can because
okay? There is another -20 because people are like, "Oh my god, there's an elf," and they are quite like turning round and looking at you, making a bit of a wall. It wouldn't make a difference. You still spot Magness charging off, and he takes off round a corner. The cart has left by now, so you are kind of stood there with all these humans staring at you like, "Oh my god, an elf! What's she doing here?"
know that Aurelia is following me?
She hasn't moved yet. You've ran off. Aurelia, what would you like to do?
here's the thing. When I said Aurelia was going to go to the bar with Magness, she's technically not going with Magness. So as soon as she sees Magness going whoosh and stumbling into a bunch of people, she's just gonna raise an eyebrow, look forward, and move as if she doesn't know him. And she's gonna go straight to a bar.
That's
Okay.
Even
good.
though we are wearing
Yeah,
matching
all of
uniforms.
So,
Yeah.
Aurelia, a lot of people are staring at you. A lot of people are staring at you.
That's good because if you were running after me, I would have started yelling about child killing.
Jesus Christ.
That's not a lie.
It's not. It
Not a
genuinely
lie,
isn't.
it is indeed true. But hey,
It would be a
It
charm
happens.
test, I think. To charm everyone else
Then
onto
again,
your side.
Aurelia just gonna grin because she probably realizes what you're doing, and she's just gonna shake her head and keep moving forward. If you stop to look and stare at her, she's not gonna care. She's just gonna keep moving.
Aurelia, how long are you going to spend here? An hour, 2 hours?
She's gonna go to. She's gonna find a tavern and she's gonna sit on a table in the corner. She's just gonna have a couple drinks before going back home.
You have two
So
choices.
1 hour, 2 hours?
You have two choices. The noble's tavern or the peasant's tavern.
Most definitely the Noble's Tavern.
Okay.
Most likely because the drinks are probably gonna be better and there are gonna be less people there. So
I would like you to roll me two 1d100s separately, so we have two separate outcomes. Okay, no,
Damn dice.
that's good. You spend a couple of hours at the bar. No one bothers you. They all seem to have seen that you were with Humperdinck and Gale. You're wearing a uniform, which is a little bit... If you were human, you would have been asked to leave because you're in a uniform, you're a peasant. Because you're an elf, the barman's like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do here. So you're kind of just left to your own devices. So you sit and drink and no one really bothers you. You don't hear anything in particular. Pretty much everyone in here seems pretty happy with their evening. For the rest of you,
okay.
you return home. You are driven by carriage, all but one. Two. You're driven by carriage and you're dropped off at the estate. The carriage does go back into town, and it will probably wait there for a few hours before, about 12 o'clock it will come back and they'll put the horses away. Magness, would you do anything whilst you're wandering through town?
No, I'd probably just be wandering.
Okay, cool. Would any of the group who are back at home, would you like to do anything?
I think I will sit on my bed and think how to get rid of the mirror.
Sure. Would anyone else do anything?
Livia?
Livia would probably bug Casper to tell her the story he read.
Okay. Okay. I would either ask her to wait for me in the library or just let her accompany me if she bugs me about it. But I'd go back to the room, grab my book, and then if she's with me, I'll just show her there or bring it to the library.
You're probably in the library.
That means you don't get the 6 pages. Haha. Alright, so I bring Livia the Mournful Tales of Wismland and Solent, and flicks the book and start showing her the story and kind of telling her from my perspective, like where this is from the play, try and give her a visual aid, I suppose. Get what I mean?
Where did you get this book from?
As I said, I acquired it in my travels.
Okay. Yeah, after that, Livia would just go back to reading random books in the library. Whatever sounds interesting.
I would. No, it's not Gale's
But I-
personal library. Yep, sure.
Would I roll deceive on that or charm for that? Because it was kind of a.
It's up to Livia. If she wants to try and see through the deception, then she would roll perception. You would roll, I think it's charm.
Yeah.
It's up to her. If she believes you because you're a teammate, you fought alongside each other, then she might not have reason.
Roll perception, but she's gonna at least pretend to believe him.
Okay. Then if you, so do you want to roll a perception to check?
Yeah.
Okay then. So if you roll a perception, and if Casper rolls a charm, and it goes on degrees of success.
Ooh.
You all get +1 for passing anyway. So Livia, she believes it.
Okay.
Thank God for season travel backing me up. Alright. If Livia goes back to reading other books, I'll sit there, read through or skim through the Tales book before packing up, heading back to my room, and checking over the pages again in my bag, after locking the door, of course.
Okay. So do you want to? You could probably do 2 rolls before it got to before you'd start to feel tired and realise you'd need to go to sleep. Or if you just wanted to just go over them and just check what you would do, like double read over what you'd gone through before, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll just double check them for now.
Cool.
So, roll for that or no?
No, just to go over the stuff that you'd already learned. That's just revision, essentially.
Okay.
So, Black Hand. As you sit down on your bed and ponder how to get rid of the mirror, you get a chill down your spine. And as you look up, the girl is sat on a chair in your room, with her feet upon the seat, holding her knees in her arms, looking sad.
I do not react to her.
Okay. She doesn't do anything. She just sits there looking really sad and exhausted. Her cheeks are puffy and her eyes, you can't tell if her skin is red because she's more etheric than substantial, but there it seems to be swelling around her eyes.
Where is she exactly?
So each room is like its own little suite. You've got your bed, you've got a writing desk, a chair, and then another chair just for lounging in the morning sun next to the window. She's in that chair next to the window, just sat with her hugging her knees.
I go to my bed, put the thing on top of a bed. Can't recall the words right now. And I will turn away from the ghost.
Okay.
Ooh, charm. Invite her to bed.
So you're just gonna try and like pull the covers over you and just roll away and just ignore it.
I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Sure, okay, you can do that. So, Geddy, Casper, as the rest of the party returns home and gets into bed after their night of drinking, their evening walk, their study, their research, you drift off to sleep. But you don't sleep well tonight, Casper. You don't sleep well at all. Your dreams feel real tonight. As you dream, you feel as if you're in darkness. Nothing but empty darkness. You look left and right, yet nothing to be seen. Then you hear a crack of the whip behind you. You turn round quickly. Your heart begins to race. And you see, almost as if you're looking through a fish-viewed lens, as if you're looking through a small hole, watching events transpire. You see a small girl sat crying in the dark, scared, skinny, malnourished and afraid, quivers and cries and weeps, and you cannot turn away. You see a aura come around her, a light, and she stops crying. You can tell almost immediately that she's not afraid anymore. But then you hear an eerie voice in the background. I can't have you dying of fright now, child. I need you. You will strengthen my group against the dancing prince. You see the girl look up at the individual and begin to weep again. Yet there seems to be a stoicness, a steadfast determination. You're not sure if it's a spell or if it's something this individual has done. Casper, roll me willpower with a -10.
Okay. Thanks, Mo. 36% chance.
You succeed. You don't take any insanity from the sights that you see. You hold your mind fast. You try to focus on other things. You can't, but it helps.
Oh, no. Sorry. I typed that in wrong. That was +10, not -10.
Okay.
That's
So-
2 points off success.
So over -10, so it would have been 40, it would have been 30. So you fail by 0.2. I'm going to be generous. You don't gain any insanity. You're just strong enough, as this is a dream.
Okay.
You watch, and for an instant, your heart stops. You've seen this face before. You know the fate of this girl. You watch as darkness shrouds her. She screams in pain, writhes, as limbs begin to sprout from her tiny frame. Her neck begins to elongate, and the man begins to laugh. You try to pull your gaze away, but you can't. Something draws it to you. Something makes you watch. But your mind stays strong. You stay determined to struggle against whatever this is. Whatever you are seeing now, you don't give in. You struggle and fight it with all your will, trying to pull away before darkness closes in around you. As the last thing you hear for the moment is a young girl scream in agony and pain, a noise like nails down a chalkboard, penetrating your mind, before you hear silence. And then a laugh. So, struggler, what did you think?
Who are you?
Who am I? I forget. I am called the Struggler, as far as I can remember. Now answer me. What do you think? Did she deserve it? Was it a cruel twist of fate?
No, she did not deserve it. But, as you said, fate is cruel. You're just a sick son of a bitch. Not that last bit. Oh god, I don't fucking know how to react.
How interesting that you and I agree. Oh, struggler. Will you fight against your fate? Or will you give in to it? I look forward to seeing. The voice echoes, almost as if it's coming from all round you. It vibrates within your mind.
Okay. Everything's still pitch black, and I can just see
Yep.
just see through the little.
No, that's gone now. It's just blackness. You don't feel as if you're looking through a hole anymore. It's just you're in a void of nothingness. But this voice. So tell me, struggler, will you fight fate? Or will you accept annihilation? I look forwards to hearing your reply. but know that the last one who came into my dreams was the one who performed such abominations. I think he gave in to fate. I think his struggles were done.
In that case, fate won't kill me yet.
We will see. We will see. The voice echoes as if walking away, as if it's getting further from you, before nothingness. The most aggravating thing for your next couple of hours, Casper, is going to be nothingness. In an empty void, no matter how loud you shout, no one will answer you. For the next couple of hours, you will drift in nothingness, unassured if you will ever awake again. Left to ponder the voices from another struggler. Or everyone else. Wow, this song's going on for a really long time. I've had enough of you. Or the rest of you. You awaken. It is now morning. The smells of cooking breakfast are coming, wafting into your rooms. The smell of fresh baked bread. Freshly baked
Do
bread.
I still see Miss Hitchhiker?
Blackhand, give me a willpower check with a +20 to see if you could actually get to sleep last night with what can only be described as a ghost sat in a chair. Although she's not doing anything, it's still a ghost in a chair. Okay, you very quickly were like, ow, it's not doing anything, just... You wake up feeling fairly refreshed. She's still there. Still looking sad and pathetic. Casper, you will awaken, jolted from your sleep, feeling like you've just been through the biggest trial. You won't feel rested at all. You won't gain any negatives from this, because there isn't a negative. But you just feel drained.
I don't get my fortune point back.
No, you regain it. It's
okay.
It's not anything like that. It's just like nightmares.
Alright. Well then. After taking a few moments to collect myself, I'd probably go to breakfast.
Sure. Blackhand, would you do anything, or are you just continuing to ignore the, for lack of a better word, the ghost? There is a better word, but I can't say it.
Since burning the mirror didn't work, since smashing the mirror didn't work, since throwing the mirror away didn't work, since burying the mirror didn't work, I will try to ignore.
You're going to
Just
do
gonna
what
give
with
a
it now?
ghost the cold shoulder.
Oh, you're just going to ignore it. Okay.
Yeah, I might, if possible, look into ways of getting rid of haunting mirrors.
Okay. Fair enough. So you you awake and go to breakfast, I guess.
So if there is ever, access to a library of reputation, that is what I will be researching.
So here's the thing. To get if you want to essentially looking for exorcism and that kind of a like, you want to go to a priest or to a church somewhere. Technically,
Yeah, no, I'm not visiting those.
Technically, dwarves are a little bit difficult on this case because there's a bit of stubborn, I don't believe in ghosts kind of malarkey going on. It's going to be difficult for you to get the knowledge. It would be safeguarded from the mundane people like yourself. You could possibly find a couple of books that speak about spiritory and the likes, but it's not. It wouldn't be ideal, really. But you can try. So everyone goes to breakfast. Blackhand, the ghost, follows you. Sorry, but she, as you leave, she gets up, looks really kind of moody, stroppy, and neglected, and she follows you. She stays a decent distance away from you, but she's always in the background. She's always there at the moment. Even when you're on the throne, I'm afraid she's just there, looking sad, pissed off, and rejected.
You know, I was thinking Aurelia would have spent just a couple hours in the tavern, but I think she'll be reaching the house right now because it's already morning.
Oh no, so you would have come back. Essentially,
okay.
you would have come back, Magness came back, you went off to sleep because everyone had done research. It was already late, as it was. So you are definitely back.
Okay.
That's better. So you all awaken for breakfast. You'd probably all notice that that Casper doesn't look like he's had a particularly good night. But at the same time, he has been taking books into his room. So take it with a grain of salt. So, is there any RP that the group would like to do at this moment? You're going to have the next 2 days off. You'll be informed why you're going to have 2 days off. Essentially, it's to get everything prepared for your trip. Malleus informs you that you are going to be going with Reese and another retainer to the small village of there it is. The small village of Hasten, and then you'll be travelling to the hamlet of Bossingborg. But you have 2 days to relax, recover, get any equipment that you would like to get. For our other companion who has not joined us yet, you are doing work on the Lord's armour at this minute, Lord Gale. But you will be free of that burden in 2 days' time. Well, a day's time.
Kegen soon. Kegzen soon. I can words.
So is there any RP that you guys would like to talk about in this time? You would know, you'd have all the information that you're going to go and check on this hamlet, that it was one that was attacked. No, sorry, that it's the only one that hasn't been attacked in that region.
That's right, I need. Lore wand.
The thing is, Aurelia is currently quietly observing the rest of the warband, and it seems like everybody's either in a bad mood or hasn't slept well, so she's gonna be quiet because one hasn't slept well, the other one is seeing ghosts.
I will be in the library looking up stuff. regarding magic and regarding mirrors and haunting mirrors, and that's the
Okay.
anything remotely close.
So you're only going to find a few books that deal with mundane stories. You're not going to find anything that's actually going to help, but you do spend a couple of days going over the books in the library, reading up on anything you can find to help you out. Nothing's going to help you, unfortunately. This is kind of a specific topic that technically you can't just go reading a book about. You'd need to go to someone specific. Okay, so one of our tree huggers is going to go and hug a tree for a while. Fair enough. Livia, would you do anything in these 2 days?
Probably spent more time in the library and chatting to others.
Okay, cool. Okay. Casper, would there be anything that you would want to do in these 2 days?
Give me a moment.
Sure. Reese, you do whatever you do as your normal day job. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it's something.
Enough, isn't it?
Collects taxes, as far as I'm aware. Oh, sorry, something I did forget, Geddy. So, when you were watching the girl get mutated into the standard bearer that Malleus shot, you now understand one of the ritual pages.
Which pages?
Oh, sorry, no. One of the... So that's written in a cipher that you already know. That one was written in rituals that had... Yes, it's one of the rituals. One of the calf skin pages, or cow skin. You can read the writing that's on there. You don't know how, but for some reason, when you look at the words, the weird squiggles and inscriptions, you know what those words are. You can't...
Just one of them?
Yes, just one of them. This doesn't mean you can speak chaos. However, it is a stepping stone on which you would learn it.
Right.
Because that's kind of the dark gods give you that knowledge. But you have successfully done a willpower test, which means you were fighting it. You were struggling against it. You know how to speak one of the pages. This can be an asset to you in further investigations and studies into this topic, depending on which side the coin falls, if it's light or dark. This will give you some benefit somewhere along the line.
Okay. Well, after that terrible night, and I don't want to raise too much suspicions, especially because I can feel the eyes and watching me. I'll probably just head back to doing normal research and probably just talking to Hubbardink to see if there's anything I can do to help him, especially now that I have a writing kit I can take over as a proper scribe.
Okay.
Or even talk to Magness about being a cartographer for him.
Sure.
That's one of the things I can then learn.
So I imagine you find Magnus perhaps on the second day. He's in the tea room of the villa. as one of the servants is bringing him a snack.
Definitely, definitely. Yes, peasant, bring upon me the sustenance.
Do I hear this?
Give me a perception test, because this is in a different room. You're in the library. So you'd need to get at least a degree to hear Magness taking the piss.
Ooh.
Sure, you can hear it echoing through the halls.
Down it down, Magness. Or do you want some more work on the boat?
I wouldn't be opposed to working on my boat.
No. Humperdinck's boat, not your tiny day.
Listen, it's a mighty boat.
Sure, but there are more mightier boats. I will work on the mightier boats of the two boats you can work on.
I wouldn't expect a dwarf to understand the intricacies of sailing.
I understand enough of scrubbing the deck. You don't. With your long arms, it should be a piece of cake for you.
Casper's gonna slowly back out of the room as they're shouting between the rooms. Maybe another day.
Sure. It's entirely up to you when you guys have a chat. 2 days pass. So you went to see the opera on the 21st. It is now. Why have I put the 24th? Yeah, it's 21st. You went to sleep. Yeah, and then you have 2 days off. So you have slept 3 times. You can restore 3 fate points, fortune points. On the 24th, you awaken early, as you were instructed to. For some of you, you wear your uniforms. For others, your normal attire is more preferred. You meet in the... which room would it be this time? It would be the planning room. It would be like the war room of the estate, which I'm sure Gale has. So the servants direct you all. No one has any problems with dreams. However, there is still a ghost that follows Black Hand everywhere, although he hasn't told anyone yet. Reese, you are there.
If I spent my 2 days either sticking, like half of the time I'd be sticking to myself, the other half I'd just be trying to keep myself up to date on what everyone's doing, kind of just being nosy.
Sure, yeah, you can do that. Just walking around the villa, getting to know your travelling compatriots and companions, not compatriots, and just getting to know their habits. Sure. But that time has passed. It is now the 24th. You all arrive from either being directed by Gale for you, Reese, or being shown by the staff for the rest of you. And for one of you, you were already there. As you all enter into the war room of the estate, you would see that Malleus and Gale stand to one side of the room. Lord Gale's armour has been brought in from the armoury room. It is estooned in glorious, it has a robe on it now, it is fully fitted. Black Hand, you would notice that the new armour pieces have runes inscribed on them. I believe it was the helmet and the chest piece are now there. Gale is showing off his new armour to Malleus, and there is another dwarf there. They appear to be talking between the three of them. As you all enter, this room is again quite a large, well fitted room. It's quite luxurious. There are no shots of game here. There are no heads held up of normal animals. There are, however, a couple of greenskin heads mounted on the walls. There are a couple of beastmen heads mounted on the walls. There are shields with family crests dotted around the room. You can tell that there's always one crest. So there'd be the crest of Galleon, which, surprise, surprise, is a galleon. I should have made it something else, but yeah. There's always a galleon shield next to another house. I think you all have seen Lord Humperdinck's sigil. I believe you have. I can't remember. It would have been on the wax. I can't remember if I described it. It was a scales and rifle. You can see on the wall that Humperdinck's sigil is next to Gale's at least 2 or 3 times, but there are other houses there as well. You would note that the house from... I cut the town off, damn it. Scroll up. The young noble girl who you saved her dog, Sir Barksworth, you see her sigil, which I believe was the stag. I think it was a stag doing something.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Did I get disconnected there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that explosion?
I don't know.
I didn't hear an explosion.
Or box feedback thingy?
I mean, popping? I'll
Yeah.
just with my microphone.
Okay.
And yeah, he's back.
Hello?
Yeah, that sound.
Yeah, that's Getty's microphone.
Oh, my thing exploding for some reason when it jumped
Yeah.
to my phone and then back to my PC, and now it's back to my PC. Sorry about that.
I'm not sure why I didn't hear it, but fair enough. So did you hear that about the house sigils, Getty?
No.
So in the war room, there are different shields on the walls. There's always one with a galleon, which you imagine would be Gale Galleon's sigil. Humperdinck's sigil is there on a shield a couple of times, but there are other houses, noble houses, sigils as well, along with the young noble girls who the young noble girl whose dog you saved, Sir Barksworth. Her sigil of her house is there next to Galleon's sigil.
That's the horse head on 2 picks.
Oh, was it a horse head? I actually didn't write it down.
Yeah, horse head over twin mining picks.
Ah, okay. I thought it was a stag's doing something, but okay, so it was his horse. I'll probably forget it. But Lord Humperdinck's is a set of scales with a rifle in front of it. You can see that a couple of times on the walls. The war room itself, you can see there are several tubes aligned. You imagine their map. Well, Magness would know that they're map holders, and there's a large flat table, which looks perfect for a map table. As you enter, Gale and Malleus are talking to the other dwarf. You are all brought forth as the servant addresses the lords. My lords, your warband is here. Please ask if you need any refreshments. She does a curtsy and makes her way out of the room. Lord Humperdinck turns to you all. For those of you who are wearing your uniforms, he looks quite prideful. He looks quite as if he's looking upon something that he's always wanted, and now it's his. That sounded bad, but it's meant in a good way.
Congratulations, you're his bitch now.
And I'm just stood there like, yeah, as always. With it's on, but it's messy.
Ah,
The
excellent.
old uniform.
By all means, let's Gale, let's get this on with. Your armor's very nice and all, and the craftsman's exquisite, but let's get on with the venture, shall we? Yes, we should. Please, Ragnar, would you introduce yourself to your new party? You will be in their service from now on. Lord Malleus will be taking over. He is far more able to give you what you seek than I am.
Thank you, my lord. I hope that we can succeed in our searches, and that you can help me, Malia.
I'm sure that that my friend here, Malleus, will be able to assist you far more than I. He has a knack for finding lost treasures, shall we say. I wouldn't say it was a knack, Gale. I'd say it's more of a given right. You can't go hiding valuables from people forever. Someone must find them, surely.
The more ancient and the more powerful lost items and knowledges, the better. I'm glad to be with someone who can say they are well adapted to finding them.
Excellent. I'm sure you'll make a fine addition to the warband, Ragnar. We'll get you all signed away and the contract written and sealed once we are off from this place. But it will be a short contract because I'm writing up a new one for everyone else. But we'll come to those terms later on. Magness kind of flails with his arms and gestures with his large girth. Don't worry, I'm good for it. You can ask your new comrades. I will make sure your coin purse is not too light, nor too heavy, mind you. Yeah.
It would take much for my coin purse to be too heavy, but that is good to know. What can you tell me about my new comrade?
Well, we have a number of fine individuals here. Magness is a sturdy boatsman who has done very well leading our boat forwards with his dinghy and the men that I hired to row it for him, and there are others that of course have done stellar work. Some have done
Magness
less.
gives him like a raise, like the men that broke my boat eyebrow.
He kind of gives you a cheeky laugh, like a cheeky smile, as if he knows he's not given the best introduction, but he's like, yeah. Anyway, on to the objective at hand, shall we? Gale goes over and takes one of the maps out and rolls it out onto the table. Yes, Malleus, we should get underway. You'll have plenty of time to talk. I believe it takes 2 days to get to Halcyone, or to the hamlet. You all kind of look at the table and are shown quite a fine drawn map of the area. You are shown Fieldorf, which is the main town in this area. you were shown the 4 small villages in Gale's territory, and he points out on the map with stones the locations of the hamlets. He then shows you, or tells you, that all these hamlets have basically been wiped off. They don't exist anymore. And there's only one hamlet in the area that really they haven't heard has been attacked. You were tasked with going out to that hamlet and seeing what's happened, if the people there are still alive, if they know anything. If they do, you are to investigate. If they are gone, you're to try and find out what killed them, and then return home. You will be taking along with you 2 carts, one for yourselves, one for any wounded that may need assistance. Reese is going along, as Reese, these are routes that you've travelled on many times collecting taxes for your lord. You know that area pretty bloody well. And of course Ragnar. However, Ragnar will be a new member of the party, whereas Reese is just a tag along for now. Are there any questions as to what you'll have to do? Your food is provided, water, you don't need to worry about any of that kind of stuff.
Okay. I can't think of anything else.
Marvellous. So, with no other questions, Lord Malleus and Gale give you their best wishes and keep a stiff upper lip and all that. No challenge is too great and all that nonsense. They turn back round once their discussion is done and tell you that your carriages await, and they look forward to seeing you in 4 days' time.
People, if anyone ends up standing up next to me, they might hear me just, it's a one-way street, and then I walk out.
Say again?
It's a one-way street.
Okay.
It kind of is. So,
Well then.
you were all shown the way to your carriage. This is not the carriage that you saw last night. The 2 carriages that are there, these look far more like Wild West styled carriages. There's a few mats in there, but that's about it. There's some towels and some blankets to keep you warm, but it's just it's just a wooden floor. And you can see in areas where there's definitely the stains of blood, as if these wagons have been used to transport wounded and soldiers around the countryside as needed. It does look like it's been cleaned, it's just stained. And you
That's
set
not bad.
off.
Dare us? I don't think. Especially Aurelia.
Sorry, what was that?
Especially not Aurelia. A little bit of dried blood's not going to deter us.
Yeah, no. Aurelia doesn't care.
So, you all get aboard your transport. You spend the next 2 days getting to know each other intimately. It's a small area for how much equipment you need, the food and everything. You pass through a couple of small villages. They look pretty shitty. It's medieval times. They're being attacked. Well, their hamlets are being attacked. You can tell that there's fear in people's eyes, and they don't exactly look as if things are going well for them. They treat your group with suspicion, especially the elves, as bad things are happening, and seeing elves is kind of an oddity. You all regain an extra 2 fortune for the 2 days that you travel. On the second day, in the afternoon, can you all give me perception tests? For our elves, there's a +10. For everyone else, there's a +5.
You said
Oh.
in the afternoon, so sun is still out.
Yes.
God damn it,
Why am
boat.
I still
Success.
the boat? I forgot to switch from the boat.
Blackhand, you immediately, before the others do, you smell smoke on the wind. For Irelia, Livia, and that's it. Oh, hang on, and Casper. You all smell smoke as well, but you see Blackhand sniffing at the air first and looking to the horizon in front of where you're going. And you can just
I
make
see
out.
what computer freeze up, and
You
I
smell smoke. You can smell smoke on the air, and as you stand up in the wagon and try and sniff the air more carefully, you can tell it's coming from directly in front of you along the road. And then you hear a very, very faint scream.
someone screaming, and the smoke suggests is burning. Proceed with caution and prepare our arms. I go after the crossbow. Wait, no, I have my blunderbuss. I prepare my blunderbuss.
Oh, it has been a while since we last had a good fight.
Oh, you all fight often then?
Not as often as we could.
Slowly picking up the spear. What gives you that idea?
Just sort of
will
like
smirk.
a half smirk with a raised eyebrow.
Riley will pull up her hood that she makeshift stitched to the uniform, or not to the uniform, but it's under the uniform, and she's gonna cover her head, and she's gonna go outside the wagon, and she's gonna follow on foot.
Okay. So you all ready your weapons, load your firearms, your projectiles, and knocked. Do you carry on at the same speed?
Drawn a knife.
Should we go a little faster? Maybe? What do you think?
Nah, it just screams. Probably should.
Oh, it's a lion.
If we can get there in time to keep them alive, they're more useful to us.
Spoken like a true elf.
Okay. The driver of the cart hears a kind of consensus and whips his horses on. They pick up speed. You follow the road for another couple of minutes. It's a tense atmosphere as you're all ready. Irelia jogs in the tree line to try and keep pace. You see, as you come round the bank, the trees disappear now. As the small hamlet comes into view, the trees have obviously been cut back for them to build the houses. This area is more scrubland than trees, but there are lots of bushes and shrubbery about. You come around the bank and you see the houses. There's a few shacks littered here and there. One stone building. It's about 3 stories. It has a small tower, basically. And you see fires on the buildings. The stone building still stands, but there is a creature slashing at the door. Give me perception checks, everyone, as now you hear the screams and cries of women. Sobbing, crying out in pain. You quickly see sprays of blood, but no bodies to be found. For those of you who look out or run beside the wagon, the horses are stopped as the driver is in shock. As you see bestial men ravishing women, their cries out for pain and for someone to save them echo in this area. Maybe it's off the stone or the hills, the banks around this small hamlet. But their cries ring out. You see these bestial monsters ravishing and raping these women. In glee and ecstasy as the buildings around burn. 4. Blackhand. Oh, hang on. No, for some reason I didn't scroll. So, oh, actually, okay. For Blackhand, you see 3 beastmen. For Ragnar, you see 3 beastmen. Ragnar sees 3 beastmen. Aurelia sees 3 beastmen. Ragnar sees 3 beastmen. Caspar sees 4 beastmen. And Livia sees 4 beastmen. They are small. They are not the large. Aurelia and Livia, 100% you would know this. Don't even need to roll. These are Ungors. These are the smallest types of beastmen. You have not been spotted at this moment. They are too enraptured in what's going on. One of them is clawing away at the door to the stone building. As the party looks upon this new scene, I would like for Carla. Please roll me perception. Carla, you came... It is Carla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carla, you came to this town yesterday. You thought you could make a little bit of money here, maybe get a decent meal before moving on. You awoke in the night to hear the screams of men as they cried out that they were under attack. You were herded with some of the smaller children into the larger stone building. There you went into the highest part of the tower, barricading yourself in with the youngest of the children and some of the young women. You stayed there and you tried to keep the children calm. You told them stories for as long as you heard battle.
Anyway.
You told them stories for as long as you heard battle, with the hope that you would hear the shouts of victory. They never came. The battle raged on for a decent time, long enough that dawn had broke. But sadly, after the sun had truly risen, the last offenders were being slain. You sat with the children as you listened to their hamlet being razed to the ground, the cries of women as they were taken prisoner, the screams of those who were violated then and there, the cries and the sounds of decapitation and butchery. Please roll me willpower. Carla,
yeah,
with
no,
with a plus 10. No, plus 20. You're not actually looking at it. You're just hearing it.
I'm gonna willpower that. I mean, fate point fortune.
There are some children in the tower with you who are catatonic. They have just curled up into balls and are just hands over ears, just crying and sobbing, with trying to cover their ears and their mouths so they can't be heard. You don't gain any insanity from this. You stay strong, focusing on the stories that you've been told over your life and just other methods to block out the sound whilst keeping everyone else quiet. There's one small boy who holds a spear up against the door, as if that door breaks through, he's stabbing whatever's coming through it. But he went quiet at about the time of the women crying out, names being called. You saw a twitch as one name was shouted before it was cut off. He's very quiet. There's still a couple of children who seem to be hanging in there. They're not quite in a catatonic state. They still rock back and forwards, their hands clutched over their ears, but they're not whimpering or crying. You also do not see the sign that that help has arrived. So your torture carries on. For the rest of you, you don't know that anyone is alive here. There are no signs of life except from the 3 women who are being violated.
How far away are the beastmen from us?
They are currently about 200 meters away, give or take. They haven't noticed.
Doesn't seem worth.
Wow, heartless.
I kind of expected that from you, Duke. I'm not gonna lie.
Rally will speak softly and she'll just say, "Filthy beastman." She'll string her bow and she'll say, the only good beastman is a dead beastman. So I say we go down there and we slaughter each and every single one of those filthy monsters. And she starts moving forward.
There's an offense to filthy monsters. I'm with you. I get out of the cart if there's 2 catatonic to carry on. Or I try to wake up from it.
No, you're all awake. You're all aware of what's going on.
I meant the drivers because they were stunned or something.
No, the drivers are in shock, but they're veterans. They're in shock at what they're seeing because it's not every day that you watch a beastman rape a woman. It's pretty mind-blowing for your average NPC. Your player characters, so you can steel yourselves better. They're not going to help you. They're kind of like, we look after the carts. We'll bring you back if you get hurt. If you want to move in, at the moment the beastmen don't know you're there. They are completely taken over with what they're doing. They're enthralled by their victory and their activities. So you can move up within striking distance for long range for bows. If you want to move up closer, you can move, do a silent move or a concealed move, essentially, and you'll be getting bonuses because they're not aware of you.
I'll try to conceal myself in range of my ball.
Okay.
And
Aurelia, you've moved up. You're in position. You are within your normal range of the beastmen. Well, how would you like to do this? You've got 3 beastmen. There's no map for this bit. They're basically arrayed in a. Well, actually, I can do it on the map because then it's a little bit easier so you can see. So if you look by the Avalon bit, they're kind of arrayed like this. The one at the front is attacking the door.
So, is it possible to like have everyone be like hidden somewhere
Yes.
nearby, and then like someone distracts them and bring?
You can ambush them. They are completely none of them are looking at you. 3 of them are currently engaged in activities that take 100% of their concentration. The other one is attacking a door.
Jesus.
So these 3 which I marked, they are currently raping the women, so
Yes.
they don't have weapons with them currently, correct?
Yes, you can see their weapons are on the ground. Their spears are stabbed into the ground, so they are close at hand, but they're not readied.
Right, I'll murmur to everyone before anyone says anything. Right, if we do this, but I guess we're gonna have to do it right. I'll be the bait, you all get ready.
And question, this one has his weapon at hand, right? And he's bashing
Yes.
a door.
Yes.
Really will grit her teeth, and instead of targeting these 3 that are currently raping the women, she's gonna target the one that is currently ready for combat, and she's gonna ready her bow.
Okay. So Aurelia, your action is set. Who is next? If you want to get within striking distance with your weapon, you need to do a concealed move or a silent move. There is a plus 30 because they are unaware of you.
See.
Ooh, so my target would have been 88.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was going to be a lot higher.
I'm gonna get up into magic range. Try to, am I?
Sure.
So that's about 16 meters.
Sure.
Plus 30?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Wow, that would have passed even without the plus 30.
Nice. Nuffle wanted you to succeed. You sneak, moving silently through the burnt out buildings and the signs of rubble. You get within range. You can see your allies also moving into range and preparing. So that's 2 set.
I don't know about ungores, or not ungores, I don't know about the different types of gores, do I? How they interact? I don't think no, that would be like Forbidden Lore, Beastman or something.
It's
Chaos.
fairly common-ish because of how prevalent beastmen are in the world. That you know the different sizes and the different... You would know these are the smallest. That's
Right.
as far as your knowledge would go, really.
I wouldn't know the sound one of them makes and one of the larger ones make.
Not really. You probably know they sound like when a cow's branded or a bull's branded. It's a similar noise, but without the human undertones.
Yeah. No, I don't know the sign, so I'm not sure about that.
So, Reese, do you want to move into striking range where technically you can charge in and attack, or do you want to set up an ambush so if they run past you, you charge in and attack?
If I like stand at somewhat of a distance and like shout them over while being stood on my own, would that give everyone else like an advantage to like get a
No,
drop?
that would break your ambush.
Ah,
You would all know tactically that if the enemy is unaware of you, that you can ambush them, which would mean you would get a surprise round. They would be caught completely unaware. Whereas if you call over to them, you could drag them away from the area, but then they'd be aware of you. They'd know that someone else is here.
no, I won't risk it. I won't go into risk.
Would I be able to make a channeling test silently? Probably not.
Wait, what now?
Technically you can. So on your turn, essentially you can go half action channel, half action cast spell, and that will be part of the ambush. You'll get a full action. and in that ambush, they won't know what's going on.
Perfect.
So, Reese, are you staying at the back, which is you'd be a long way away, technically, or do you want to move up to where you are in range for combat?
I wouldn't risk it. I'd stay at the back.
Okay. Then you will be useless for the surprise round. Livia, what would your action be? Okay. So, Black Hand, what would your action be? Okay, sorry, Livia, your mic is muted. So you successfully move your way up, so you are within striking distance for the surprise round.
Okay.
And
again, if you want to do like Casper, channel, and cast a spell,
I have no
you can.
concealment. I have no. Do I get bonuses for concealment and silent move?
It'd be a plus 30.
Oh, plus 30. I would try to get within 32 meters.
Sure.
So first concealment and then a silent move?
No,
or...
either one. Whichever one you're better with is how you're moving up.
They're both agility, so... 30 bonus?
Yeah. Okay,
Nope,
that's
I
fine.
do not reach.
You move up into position. They will get a check to notice you. Ragnar, what would your move be?
Oh, he's pretty useless at range, so he's gonna try and move forward and get within hitting distance, and hopefully try and distract some of the beastmen when it comes to fighting.
Sure. So that's either a silent move or a concealment with a plus 30, and then you're in range for the ambush.
Can I fortune that?
Yeah, sure.
Did you add the plus 30?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Jesus.
Ragnar is not a agile dwarf.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay.
So I failed less.
Which is actually a good thing. So you all move into position. As Ragnar and sadly, as our two dwarves move up, everyone else just glides silently into positioning, readying their weapons. As Reese the Spiteful sits back and doesn't move. Unfortunately, the dwarves, as they both get into position, Black Hand, as he readies his blunderbuss, just places it on a piece of glass. There's a tiny ting, and Ragnar just steps on a already burnt piece of wood, and there's a but they don't seem to have noticed you. Can everyone who was going to make a ranged attack please make a ranged attack? You get a plus 30 to the roll because they are unaware.
Okay.
Including me?
Yes. Well, no, sorry. Sadly, Ragnar, you don't get a plus 30.
Black Hand.
Yeah, sorry, Black Hand, you don't get a plus 30. You just roll damage.
I'm gonna let everybody roll first because.
Use the silence blunderbuss.
How much magic have I got? 1. Yeah, 1. Well, I failed my channeling test. No. 30, was it?
Yes, plus 30.
Hey,
Oh. Um.
that was a lot of dice popped up.
I don't think you can add a plus 30 to your magic.
That was
though.
because it uses weapon skill or ballistic skill.
Uh,
Shooting
No,
it
doesn't.
doesn't. Oh,
It does not. So long as you hit your target number, your your magic will hit no matter what.
where the hell did that go?
You don't
I
get
thought
any
you did a
bonuses or
willpower. I thought you
You
did a
did
willpower
not-
test. Or
just for channeling.
You did not name this spell Yeet a Magical Dart. You bastard.
Where the hell did I put it?
I approve. I approve. I'm at the same time disgusted and approve.
Okay. Yeah, that was just that actually did get added to the channeling test or the casting test. I thought it was added to the other one.
The
Sorry.
casting number is 6 and you rolled a 9, so technically you still would
Yeah.
hit. So
Still cast.
okay, who's next? Should it be me or?
casting number is a 6, and he rolled a
9.
9. So it still hit. It still goes off. So yeah, it'd be a plus 30 to the channeling, not to the willpower for the.
Okay. No, my. Okay, I would have passed the channeling then.
Because
Sorry, I
surely
misunderstood.
you'd get a plus. Well, no, I may have misunderstood. Because you would get the plus 30 because they're unaware. If it can't go to your attack, then it would go to something else. Now with Black Hand, it can't because he literally just rolls attack.
Mhm.
So. Yeah, it'd go onto your channeling, but you already hit, so.
Yeah. Sweet.
Okay, and
Barely.
another hit. Black Hand, would you like to roll damage? Oh, actually, Black Hand, where are you? Like, just position yourself roughly where you would be, because I need to know the angle.
I would have positioned myself to keep the friendlies out of line of fire. So on the flanks.
Okay, no, that will work then. I'm just doing some mental maths, because they're not actually that close to each other. It was just to represent them. Yeah, okay, no, I think that's right. You're fairly intelligent, but this is the first time you fired the weapon. So yeah, okay. So if you roll for me damage.
No attack.
No attack, just damage. Don't get a 9. So you get a 3. Well, you get a 2. Then plus 3. That's okay.
My turn.
Irelia, yes. If we can get 2 attacks from you.
And then
Okay.
damage. And damage.
So, as you are all in position, you give the sign and you let loose. Ragnar, would you charge in? Well, actually, Ragnar doesn't have a ranged attack, so he probably couldn't get into... Okay, no, we'll do it that way. So, as the magic is fired, arrows are loosed, there's a boom across the hamlet as a plume of smoke gives away Black Hand's position. The Beastman, the Ungor, at the door that Aurelia shoots, falls to the floor dead. It didn't even have a chance to see where its attacker came from. The one that Casper fires his magic darts at gets jolted forwards, turns around as another bolt strikes it, as Irelia tag teams the creature. It falls to the ground. Ragnar fires his blunderbuss out, spraying across the back of one of the Ungors. It hisses and, well, it doesn't hiss. It cries out in a bestial roar. Dropping the girl, grabbing its spear and charging forwards in the direction of which it was attacked. Ragnar. This activates your, we're going to call it a held action. You charge into the beast and attack. Ragnar, if you give me a weapon attack with a +10.
Yep.
It's +10 for standard attack as well, isn't it, in this? Because there's no range. So yeah, give me a +20.
Yeah.
Excellent. Give me a damage roll, please. With a 13,
nice.
as you strike this beast man, you can feel your ancestors egging you on. Right, Ragnar. If you go into your sheet on your weapons tab, scroll all the way down. You'll see a button that says Ulrich's Fury. To do is click on that and put in your standard weapon skill, so no bonuses, and then click submit.
Is
Sadly, your ancestors don't steal you on anymore. They don't need to. As you strike the beast man in the body, you feel your axe cut deep. And you know your job is done when your hand comes free. Your axe brought through the creature's chest, and it falls to the floor. Irelia and Caspar have dispatched one. No, sorry. Livia
and Caspar.
Livia and Caspar have dispatched one. Ragnar and Blackhand have dispatched another, and Aurelia another. But one still stands. I am quickly going to see. Okay. The one that remains. I would ask you all to roll initiative. There's no real point. He rolls a 10 plus his agility bonus. So I think that makes him a 13 or a 14. He grabs... Oh no, he already had his... No. Yes. So he grabs his spear from the floor, dropping the woman who slams on the floor. It turns around. Seeing its fellows dead, it should probably do a willpower test to see if it fails. It panics. It sees the plume of smoke, so it runs in the opposite direction. If we say that Mages geeked that one, Aurelia geeked that one, Ragnar and Blackhand geeked that one, so it'd be the middle one. So okay, it goes to run into the hills. As it's already picked up a weapon, half action. Technically dropped a girl, free action. It does a half action to move away. All ranged combatants, except from Blackhand, you can fire at him again. The mages, he would be in range of you, so you can all fire. As this Ungor tries to get away, basically. Clara, you have just heard Carla. You've just heard a boom explosion from outside, and the cries of the women have stopped. The beast men you've heard just shriek, well, roars of pain.
I must still be in the tower. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the brigands.
You
Who
could
knows?
look at this point, but that's up to you.
I mean, if I can safely look while exposing myself, I would.
I want to down the last Ungor if I can. I think I have the highest agility.
So the Ungor has done a half move to get away. It picked up its spear. Basically, I'm saying the Ungor went first. It's picked up a spear, failed a willpower test. All of its friends are dead, and it doesn't understand why. And it's made a half move to get away. It's not running, so you can shoot it if you want.
Oh no, I want this creature dead.
By all means, fire away. Oh, in the head. In the head.
Oh, come on!
Beautiful.
Can I use Fortune Point to reroll one of these damages? Because come on.
No, I don't think you can. Let me have a look.
It is armor piercing too, so
Let me have a look here.
if it does not die, I'm gonna rush it and I'm gonna kill it.
The casters, you can fire at it. It is within range. I just need to double check their HP and toughness and things, because they are weak as all hell. But unfortunately, Aurelia, yeah, your shots. You strike it in the head, and you can see the arrow split across its skull, but it deflects off. The other shot hitting it in the arm also a glancing graze. However, with another 5 to the head, yeah, it could technically. I mean, hang on. I'm going to give it to you. It took a couple of hits to the head. This is story time. As Aurelia, as you loose your arrow, Livia fires off a magical dart. The two strike it in its head at the same time, knocking it to one side. As the arrow penetrates its shoulder, it smashes into a burnt structure, and you just see a piece of wood impale into its chest as it bounces off the structure and snaps a piece of wood and falls on the floor, very much dead. Carla, you can see as you peer down from your tower, the signs of 2 carts just in the distance, not far outside the hamlet's borders, and the signs of individuals moving. And also the bloodied corpses of the Ungors.
Okay, so that's a potentially good sign.
And that is where we leave it for this episode. As the Ungors are dead and the danger has passed, our team will have a moment to gather themselves, look around the area, take care of the wounded. But that will all be in the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching and you're looking forwards to the next episode. So yeah, take care everyone, and as always, bye bye for now.